I think it's really important to spend time alone, because in solitude you really get a chance to know yourself. And there is something magical about being alone, left with just your thoughts. You become an observer of your mind, your surroundings, everything. And in those moments, you really find yourself in a way. I've spent past 2 weeks alone. Usually I always live with my family or Tin, my boyfriend, but he went to Portugal for 5 months and I'm here in Zagreb alone. My family's on the island and honestly, it's been really refreshing because I'm always surrounded by those same people and moving a little bit away from them really made me think differently. And I don't mean anything mean or bad, but it's just how it is. 5 people you surround yourself with is who you become. So yeah, just distancing myself from them made me think in a different way. And some new thoughts came in and I really needed that. There are a lot of people on this planet who are terrified of being left alone, and I think it's just because we are so afraid of being alone with our thoughts. Usually we are occupied with other people or social media or whatever else, music or something. So we don't think a lot when we are occupied, but if you take those things out, you're left with your thoughts. And if your mind is your master and not a servant, I think it can be really frightening in a way for a lot of people. I often like to remind myself that mind is a beautiful servant and a tool, but it's a terrible, terrible master, just like the fire. So if we are not conscious of our thoughts, if we don't know how to control our minds and just, let thoughts flow and not get attached to them, I think it can be frightening because we overthink a lot. We make fake scenarios that will probably never happen. We think about our future and our past, and if we are not really aware of those thoughts, our minds can really mess up with us. So I think that's why a lot of people are so afraid of being left alone with their own thoughts, being left alone with themselves. But despite that unpleasant feeling we can get from being left alone with just our thoughts, I think it's extremely important to face that fear and really be alone with yourself. There is a quote from Robin Sharma that goes, "A flight from solitude really is an escape from freedom." And if you think about it, it's so true. Only people who are comfortable in their own company are truly free. And they're free because they don't need anyone to entertain them. They are perfectly happy with being with themselves. They don't need other people to fulfill them. They just don't need distractions to save them from their minds. And I think if you always need distractions and if you constantly have to be around other people, you're not really free. You're kind of a prisoner of your own life or mind in a way. It's so weird to me how our society thinks that being alone is so wrong and weird. I was listening to Jay Shetty podcast the other day and he said that whenever you have a kid in school or kindergarten that is really quiet and spends a lot of time alone and doesn't have a lot of friends, we automatically think that something's wrong with that kid, Oh, poor kid, he doesn't have any friends, what's wrong with him? And we always think in a negative way about it. But why? Why is it like that? Why don't we think, whoa, this kid is really comfortable with being with himself. Or this kid really appreciates having one or two true friends rather than a bunch of fake ones. And it really stuck with me. Whenever there is a person that spends a lot of time alone, we think that person is miserable, we pity that person, we think that a person is weird, but why? Why do we think like that when being alone is so necessary for us to grow, to evolve, and to change? These days I spent alone really made me think about my life, and I kind of reinvented myself in a way, because I had so much time to think and be with my own thoughts, and I was thinking a lot about my life and about the things that really make me happy and the things I really want to do in life. And when I was thinking about it, I was more open-minded, because my thoughts weren't shaped by the opinions of others, and I wasn't going much on social media neither, and distancing and isolation really made its thing. When I'm constantly surrounded by other people, I kind of start thinking like them, so I'm always thinking the same thoughts. But if you always think the same thoughts, you don't really change. Like Dr. Joe Dispenza said, you cannot create anything new from the known. And yes, you can definitely think new thoughts and differently when you are with other people, but when you isolate yourself, you really put yourself in a situation where you no longer pick the opinions of other people, but you really shape your own beautiful new thoughts. Refreshing feeling to think something new. And this is where creation really comes in. Just creation of all different things like photos and videos or art and music and all other things that beautiful human beings make on this earth. But not only that, but also the creation of our lives, our life path. Because if you're constantly consuming like social media or other people's opinions, if you're constantly with other people, you become a consumer and you don't really have time to create something of your own. Not only time, but energy. And you become a consumer and not a creator. And I really think that all people long for creation. I think we were all born to create something. And if you're constantly consuming, you become really miserable. At least I noticed that on myself. When I'm constantly consuming, I really can't do it anymore. I want to isolate myself to make room for creation. There is a quote from Robin Sharma that sums it up perfectly, and it goes, "I've also learned that inspiration gets fed by isolation, away from the ceaseless digital diversion and mindless overcommunication that dominates the hours of the majority these days." I really have nothing else to add. It sums up perfectly how isolation and creation go hand in hand. Isolation is needed to create not only physical things, but also your life. Because I believe that you're the creator of your life. You're the one who has the power to create whatever life you want. And I think that's beautiful, that we have that power within us. So use that power and isolate yourself a little bit. Hey, one last thing about isolation is that you really get to know yourself. You observe your thoughts, you think about your life, you find out what you like, what you don't like. You find connection with your inner self, but not only that, you find connection with other things around you, just things in your apartment, your plants and food and nature. You just find this deep connection. You just observe things in a deeper way, different way, deeper way, whatever. And while you get to know yourself better, and when you cherish the relationship with yourself, and when you're honoring the hours you spend with yourself, you really become better in relationships with other people. It's interesting how contrasts meet up later in life. You know, time you spent alone now will help you be better with other people in the future. Last quote I'm gonna leave you with is, investing in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all those around you. It's also by Robin Sharma. He really resonates with this video. I mean, his book 5 AM Club, but also his other books. He really talks about how it's important to isolate yourself. So I would recommend his books. I love them. And yeah, that's just all I observed in this time I spent alone, that isolation is really necessary for us to grow. So thank you so much for watching this video. Also, this is the last video that marks 1 year of me being on YouTube. 4th of March is the birthday of this YouTube channel and the day when I decided to embarrass myself in the front of the whole internet. And I'm really thankful for that day, because I learned so much in this 1 year of making videos on YouTube, not only about filmmaking but also about myself. So I'm thankful, and I'm thankful to all 77 of you who subscribed to my channel, and to you who watch my videos and didn't subscribe to my channel. But yeah, thank you to all of you. You guys really make me so incredibly happy. So thank you, and I'm gonna see you in the next video, in this next chapter of making YouTube videos. I feel some kind of change coming in my life. I don't know why I'm telling this, but I just feel like I have to spit it out. I don't know how it's... Yeah, anyway. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next video. And I love you all, and bye-bye. Whee! Okay, now we can continue with this video. Isolation is... Oh, my leg! Jesus Christ. I can't film without blood in my leg.